The arena was filled with noise, but suddenly, everything changed. The lights went out. The crowd gasped. The sound of a single gong echoed through the darkness, and in that instant, millions of fans around the world felt a chill run down their spine. The Undertaker, the Deadman himself, had returned. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a dark, shocking moment that reminded everyone why The Undertaker is one of the most feared, respected, and unforgettable figures in WWE history. Fans screamed, some cried, others stood frozen in disbelief. After years of silence and rumors of retirement, the Phenom walked once more into the shadows of WWE, and his return stunned the entire world. For over 3 decades, The Undertaker defined an era. He wasn't just another superstar. He was a legend, a myth, an icon who transcended wrestling. From his chilling debut in 1990 to his streak at WrestleMania, The Undertaker carried an aura no one could replicate. Every appearance felt supernatural, every entrance unforgettable. When the bell tolled, fans knew they weren't just watching a match, they were witnessing history. That's why his dark return years later carried so much weight. It wasn't just about nostalgia, it was about fear, respect, and the undeniable power of the Deadman. The night began like any other WWE spectacle. The crowd was buzzing, the matches were delivering excitement, and the energy in the arena was electric. But then, rumors spread backstage, whispers that something big was about to happen, something that would change the course of WWE forever. Fans didn't know what to expect, and when the lights cut out, the arena plunged into pitch-black silence. Every heart skipped a beat. The sudden darkness felt heavy, suffocating. Then the gong struck. That single sound shook the walls, rattled the cameras, and sent goosebumps down the spines of everyone watching. Fire erupted, smoke filled the entrance ramp, and The Undertaker's ominous theme began to play. The camera panned across the crowd, capturing faces filled with shock, fear, and pure awe. Children covered their eyes. Grown men screamed in disbelief. It had been years since The Undertaker had last walked the WWE stage, and many believed they would never see him again. His retirement was supposed to be final, his last ride completed. But now, here he was, back from the shadows, draped in his iconic long black trench coat, wide-brimmed hat pulled low over his face, his eyes glowing with a supernatural intensity. Every step he took toward the ring felt like the march of a ghost, haunting and unescapable. Superstars in the ring froze. The cameras caught their eyes wide with fear. Some backed away, others stood paralyzed. The Undertaker wasn't just another opponent. He was the Reaper, the conscience of WWE, a man who demanded respect simply by existing. And when he finally reached the ring, he raised his arms, summoning the lights in an explosion of pyrotechnics that made the arena shake. Fans erupted, chanting, "Undertaker, Undertaker," with a passion that hadn't been heard in years. The Deadman had returned, and nothing would ever be the same again. The return wasn't just a surprise, it was a moment dripping with symbolism. For years, WWE had moved forward with new stars, new champions, and new stories. Yet there was always a void, a missing piece of history that no one could replace. The Undertaker's presence filled that void instantly. It was as if the soul of WWE had returned home. Even in his silence, his presence spoke volumes. He didn't need to say a word. His stare alone told the world that darkness still lingered and that the legend was not finished. Social media exploded instantly. Within seconds, The Undertaker trended worldwide. Clips of his entrance flooded timelines, with fans calling it one of the most shocking WWE moments of all time. The comments poured in, disbelief, excitement, even fear. The Deadman had once again captured the imagination of millions, proving that even after decades, his aura remained unmatched. The Undertaker's dark return was more than nostalgia. It was a reminder of everything he represented. The streak, the rivalries, the unforgettable matches that defined WWE. From battling Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania Classics to wars with Triple H, Brock Lesnar, and Kane, The Undertaker's legacy was carved into the very foundation of wrestling. Seeing him again reminded fans of every memory, every moment when the lights dimmed and the gong sounded. It reminded them of why they fell in love with WWE in the first place. But the return also carried an edge of danger. The Undertaker wasn't here to smile and wave. His eyes burned with intensity, his movements calculated and slow, filled with menace. He had unfinished business, and the roster knew it. Some whispered that the Deadman had come to send a message, to remind the new generation that darkness never truly dies. Others speculated that he had returned for vengeance, perhaps to target a specific superstar who had disrespected his legacy. The truth didn't matter in that moment. What mattered was the fear, the shock, and the unshakable feeling that the legend had risen once more. For the fans in attendance, it was history unfolding before their eyes. Parents who had grown up watching The Undertaker now stood with their children, both generations screaming together at the sight of a man who seemed larger than time itself. The WWE Universe united in awe, their voices thundering through the arena as The Undertaker's presence consumed everything around him. Rivals who once claimed the Deadman's legacy was over were suddenly silenced. The locker room buzzed with unease. Who would The Undertaker target? Who would be brave enough or foolish enough to step into the ring with him? The questions only added to the mystique. That was The Undertaker's gift. He didn't just return, he created fear, suspense, and anticipation that no one else could match. As the camera zoomed in on his face, the world saw the same cold, haunting stare that had terrified generations of superstars. The wrinkles of time were there, but so was the aura, the immortal presence that made him the Deadman. He slowly removed his hat, rolling his eyes back into his head, and the arena erupted again. That single gesture was enough to remind everyone, The Undertaker wasn't just back, he was eternal. The beauty of The Undertaker's return was that it didn't need explanation. WWE didn't have to overhype it or force-feed it to fans. His very existence was the storyline. His silence was louder than words. That was the magic of the Deadman. He didn't need to speak to leave you trembling. He didn't need to wrestle to remind you why he was the soul of WWE. His return, his dark presence, his haunting entrance, those alone were enough to shock the world. Even after the show ended, fans couldn't stop talking about it. Videos of his entrance racked up millions of views in hours. Analysts debated what it meant for WWE's future. Younger fans who had only heard stories of The Undertaker now had their own unforgettable memory to hold on to. And longtime fans, those who had followed his 3-decade-long journey, were reminded of why he was the greatest character in wrestling history. In the end, The Undertaker's dark return wasn't just another surprise moment. It was a cultural event, a reminder of what makes WWE magical. It blended fear, nostalgia, and shock into one unforgettable night. It showed that legends never die, that darkness always lingers, and that The Undertaker will forever be the heart of wrestling's greatest stories. When future generations look back on WWE history, they will talk about the streak, the WrestleMania matches, the rivalries. But they will also talk about this night, the night the Deadman returned from the shadows, stunned the entire WWE Universe, and proved once again that he is eternal. The night the lights went out, the gong struck, and the world remembered why The Undertaker is forever known as the Phenom. The Undertaker's dark return didn't just stun everyone. It reminded the world that in WWE, legends never truly rest in peace.